Hello, everyone, and welcome to the summer semester of MC 375, Strategies for Social Media. My name is Dr. Danielle Devers, and I'm an assistant professor of multimedia journalism here at the University of Montebello. Now, I know most of you in looking at our class roster, but for those of you who I haven't met or who may have forgotten me due to not having me for a while, my background is that I am currently a professor at Montebello. I teach a lot of digital communication, including social media, public relations, and multimedia journalism. I've been here at Montebello for the past 2 years and absolutely just love this program and how we are encouraging our students to get ready for professionalism. My background is that I was an executive producer in local television news for about 15 years and then moved into nonprofit PR for about 5 years, working with organizations like the American Heart Association, UAB Medicine, and the American Red Cross. Social media was a primary purpose of my job in those nonprofit roles as well as in my journalism role. And so I have the professional background to be able to help guide you in this class to know what to expect in industry. Now, personally, a little bit about me. My husband, Patrick, and I have been married for 13 years now, and we actually met in a high school broadcasting class. He also works in nonprofit PR after a long career as a videographer in local news. And we have a 7-year-old daughter, Skylar, who is just as much of a Disney nerd as I am, thank goodness. Now, this class, if you're not aware, is going to be taught online asynchronous. It is taught over only 4 weeks. Now, remember, a normal semester class takes place over 16 or 17 weeks. So you're really cramming a lot of one class into the next 4 weeks. So if you think that, this looks like a lot of material, it's because it is. It's an entire semester jam-packed into 4 weeks. Welcome to summer semester. But the great thing is that we have this class laid out so you can work at your own flexibility and convenience. I use modules within my Canvas course, and it's important that you kind of understand the layout of the Canvas course in order to be successful in MC 375. So here are my main tips. You can see on the right-hand side a screenshot and some notes from our Canvas course. So I always want you to start on this home button in the upper left-hand corner. And the reason is it will bring up all of these modules. My modules are set up so that you work from top to bottom. So always go in order. Now, the semester-long resources folder will include things like the syllabus, tips for success, setting up an appointment with me, or extra credit. Then you have links to our external organizations that we're going to be working with, HubSpot and Canva, so that you can always easily access those. Then, because we're set up in weeks and each day out of the 5 days of the week that we would normally be meeting for an in-person class, I wanted to make sure that you kind of had a break between each of the days. So you will see week 1, week 2, week 3, and week 4. And then in between the weeks, you will see the day modules. So the week modules provide dates that you need to know for that week, the summaries of the days that we will cover, and any multi-day projects or exams that we may have. I try not to put a ton in that week module, so it's something that you should just look at when you first open it up for the week, but then mostly pay attention to the day modules. The day module is the amount of instruction that would normally take place in the 2-hour class, plus any homework that you would have in a normal in-person class. So as a reminder, classes that meet in the summer in person are 2 hours long and then also have homework. So I've tried to set up the class to mimic that amount of in-class material. So you will see from the top to the bottom, I want you to go in order. Typically, the first thing you're going to do is watch a lecture, then read some materials from industry or professional blogs, and then you'll actually participate doing some homework, discussion posts, or maybe even projects later in the semester. Another key thing to remember is that I communicate with our class through this assignment or announcements tab, and you can sign up through Canvas in your settings to get email alerts so that it will email you anytime that I make an announcement. This is probably the easiest way to set this up to make sure that you don't miss any information. And then just so you know, all of this information, plus some other very helpful tips for success are in the tips for MC 375 file in the semester long resources folder, as well as your day one module. Now, with an online course, there is a lot of power to do a lot of great things, but I want to caution you that this comes with great responsibility. The good thing about online courses, as I'm sure you know from the past 2 years, is that they allow you a little bit more flexibility. You can work on your own time, but this means that you need to make time for the course. So in having flexibility, you want to make sure that you are setting yourself up for success so that you're not the dog drinking coffee in the middle of the fire when it comes time for deadlines. Instead, set aside a certain amount of time, preferably 2 hours for 5 days of the week, where you can do your coursework like you would in a normal classroom setting. This is what I have found to be most helpful for students who struggle with online learning, but just know that you can work at your own pace and decide what works best for you. That's the beauty of the flexibility of an online class. Just make sure that you're setting yourself up for success and not failure. Now, in terms of what you need for this course, you do not need to have a textbook. I would prefer for you to be reading industry and professional blogs because this is what professional social media content creators and managers are using. And so I want you to learn from the same kind of materials that you would if you were a professional. The other things that you will need for the course are a login to HubSpot Academy, which I have provided you links for in homework 1, as well as to Canva. Both of these are free, but make sure that you're signing in using your email for HubSpot Academy. This will allow you to access the certifications for free rather than having to pay for them. You do not have to sign up for Canva Pro in order to do this class. You're welcome to use the free version, but if you have Canva Pro or you think you're going to be designing a lot over the summer, it is a low-cost way to get access to a ton of free materials within Canva, but the free version is totally fine for this class. You also need to make sure that you have access to a camera, one that has the capability of doing video. So a smartphone, a DSLR, or even equipment that you check out from Montevallo is totally fine. I understand most of you are probably going to be working from home away from Montevallo's campus. That's fine, as long as you have access to some kind of camera where you can shoot video and still photography. Professional accounts for Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and LinkedIn is also required for the class. So you can't use your personal ones, but if you have professional ones that you've created for other classes or for work, then you are welcome to use those. Just make sure that they are professional level accounts. And again, all of this in gathering your materials is what homework 1 is. So just read those assignments to get the materials ready. Now, our point structure for the class is set up where it's worth 1,000 points, broken out into 6 different ways of gaining those points. Homework is worth 240 points total in the class. These are typically smaller assignments, either using a workbook from the HubSpot certification or completing smaller classes on HubSpot or Canva that are not tied specifically to a certification. These are worth 20 points each because they are somewhat more time consuming. And so I want to make sure that you are rewarded for the time that you're putting into this homework. Discussion points are mimicking what we would have in an in-person class as like class discussions. So it's a way to extend our ability to learn from one another in the digital forum. Just make sure you're thinking through your responses. I prefer quality responses over quantity of responses, but make sure that you're answering every question and following the instructions. Original posts are due on Friday at midnight and replies are due Sunday at midnight. Whenever you have a project that is due, your project will, your discussion post will be posting the final production part of your project. So you need to make sure that you have a draft done of your project by Friday to hit that original post deadline. But what you can do is use the peer feedback that you're getting in the discussion board before it's actually due Sunday at midnight. So that's why the deadline for project is set up at Sunday at midnight, but you're required to post at least a draft by Friday. These are worth 10 points each, and you can see that I would deduct points for not meeting deadline, not doing a quality original post, and not providing 2 quality peer replies. Now, in terms of projects, you're going to have 8 throughout the semester. Each one has very specific instructions within the Canvas assignment, as well as a rubric so you know how I will grade them. These are worth 25 points each because, again, they tend to be somewhat more time consuming. Just make sure you put some good effort into each of these, because these are what you can use in your professional portfolio to get yourself a job after you finish this class. Now, we also have a midterm exam. I don't really love exams, but they're a great way to test definition, concepts, and key strategies from learning. And so I've made this a low stakes midterm exam, only worth 50 points. It will be open Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday of the week of June 17th, but due Friday, June 19th at midnight. It is online, no proctoring equipment is needed, and you are allowed to use open book, open notes. So make sure that you're actually taking notes when you're watching lectures and reading. This will really help you on the midterm exam. The big part of this class is getting the social media marketing certification from HubSpot. This is due at the very last day of class, July 1st at midnight. In order to finish the certification, there are about 9 to 10 hours of coursework, as well as a 1-hour exam that is all proctored through HubSpot Academy. I've spread this out throughout the semester and suggested ways to do it over 4 weeks, but you are welcome to do all of the coursework for the certification all at once or at your own pace. But this is a professional level certification that can be used on a resume, on your LinkedIn, and studies have shown that certifications in social media are very helpful in terms of helping you get a job after college. Now, the professional points are based on having good attendance by logging in and participating in discussion and replies, making sure you're completing all your assignments, and making sure that you're respectful and professional in your in-person and digital communication. So if you show disrespect to someone during your peer replies, or you're not using the professional email policy when communicating with me, I may deduct points from your professionalism points. But hopefully this is just a good way to encourage you to really work in this class like you would in a social media firm or in a business or in a newsroom. Now, I want you to know that even though you're in an online class, I'm here for you. I am continually logging in multiple times during the day to make sure that the course is going the way it should. So if you ever have a question, if you see a problem, if you're confused about something, don't hesitate to reach out. I love helping my students, so don't feel like you're burdening me at all. Please email me, make an appointment on Calendly. We can meet by Zoom. You can message me on Twitter. And, if I see things that are going on in real time that I want to bring into the course, I may even use like the hashtag MC375 on Twitter to bring those to your attention. I may also post some like hints to the exam using hashtag MC375 on Twitter. So just be on the lookout for that as you are using your social media. But please don't hesitate to contact me. I love this class. I think it's so much fun to really connect the content driven making of social media with the business side and the analytics so that you really understand how the two can work together. And so I'm really excited to teach this class, and just know that I am always here for you. And if you need anything, just reach out. Hope you have a great rest of your day, and be sure to complete all the rest of day 1 in this module.